Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ned's Healing Sanctuary. Enjoy. All right, now let's look at some of the manifestations um, of these blockages and imbalances that we have in our energy centers. Um, some physical manifestations include physical ailments, tension, headaches, maybe around the neck area, chronic pain. In my case, when I was frozen in fear, I didn't mention this, but I had uh, a muscle spasm in my back between my shoulder blades, and it was just shooting up and down my neck and my back. And I tried to treat it physically. I tried. I have a foam roller. I rolled many times, um, and I applied a heating pad with moisture, and it helped a little. It alleviated some of the pain, but because my blockage was still there, the fear of moving, it just came back even worse. And so this went on for like I think 3 weeks. This was about 6 weeks ago, and then I started meditating more and getting into meditation more to try to figure out what you know. I was confused. I did not know what I wanted to do with my life, and gradually I started getting stronger and stronger intuition until finally one day it just hit me. It just hit me. I want to help mankind, human beings, you and me, um, with information to help us get where we want to go. And when I realized that, and when I made that realization, I just started crying because it was a tremendous emotional release. I felt it. I felt it. I felt the shackles being removed from me, the weight being lifted from my shoulders. It was so much pressure because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I just built up more and more stress on myself. And that manifested in that way, back pain, muscle spasms. And finally, when I was able to hear him, I just let loose. I felt so much better after that. I can remember, and that's when what started me on this journey of creating this channel and sharing what information I have with you. Fatigue as well. If you're constantly tired, um, you don't feel like you have energy to do anything, and part of the imbalances we may have. Mental and emotional symptoms could be persistent negative thoughts. You can't break out of the cycle of thinking negatively. Same thoughts just repeat. We're in a loop, right? So if that persists for longer than a couple of weeks, I would seek help. Anxiety, you know, dread, impending doom, fear. That's part of anxiety. And if it's bigger than you, if you've dealt with it your whole life, definitely get help. Some people are more susceptible to anxiety than others. That you know speaks to a deep-seated fear, deeply seated fear. And these could affect, your happiness. If you know somebody who has like had an emotion that they can't break out of almost their whole life, like anxiety or depression, or any other fear or phobia, like fear of heights, fear of water, sometimes that may have occurred or started in a way, way, way back when, like when you were very, very young. And if you don't have an activity that may have caused that to happen, that emotion, that phobia, then it may have happened earlier than this lifetime. Yes, it may have happened in the past lifetime. That's why when a 1 month old baby starts crying uncontrollably when they get near water and they've never had a bad experience with water before, they may have had a bad experience from another lifetime, including drowning, fear of flying, same thing. Maybe they were in a plane crash. fear of heights, may have fallen. So I'm just telling it like I see it. I'm not trying to shock anybody. Um, but there are people that can help, even with those types of situations where the event occurred not in this lifetime. Your spirit has access to all of those memories. Okay? Your mind does not. Your mind only remembers this life. Your spirit remembers everything about all of your lifetimes. And there are people, therapists, that use hypnosis called regression therapy. They can take you back, not just to when you were a child, but into your past life, where the event occurred that is the source of this lingering emotion. Okay? And once you relive it, it's gone. All you have to do is just re-experience it and then know that it can't hurt you anymore. But until you do that, it's not going to go away. Okay? This is very common where people bring phobias and fears with them in their spirit. It latches onto the spirit and is born with them. Irritability, another symptom. You may find yourself snapping at people for the smallest things, inconsequential things. You just lose it. Difficulty concentrating, feeling stuck. We've all been there. Spiritual disconnection is another symptom. This speaks to the crown chakra or maybe third eye chakra imbalances. You can't hear your intuition, your higher self. That's here. Feeling empty or unfulfilled. Why would that happen? Because you don't know what your life's purpose is. Similar to me. All right. Life stagnation. So in different areas of your life, you could experience problems as well due to energy imbalances, like relationship issues. You may feel like you're just going around in circles with no purpose, no end in sight, or you may feel like you're constantly arguing about the same things with no resolution. Career progression. You feel stuck. You want a raise, not going to get it. You want a promotion, not going to happen. You want to leave, you can't. You need the money, you're stuck. Okay. Creativity, writer's block or other creative blocks from the film industry, for instance. Writers that want to write jokes or material for shows, sometimes they just can't function. They don't have the creativity they used to have. The jokes aren't as funny. The storyline is shallow. The characters are not developed like they used to be. These are all the same symptoms, same issue. And a feeling that life is not flowing. So, luckily, there are ways to remove blockages. And most of them, some of them can be self-healing, like the top one here. Others involve skilled practitioners. So let's talk about meditation. That's a big one for me, for just, making sure you don't have energy blockages and being happy and saying with your source, your spirit. Meditation is a great way for you to do that. I am going to put a link in the description of a guided meditation for making sure your energy is flowing and removing blockages, removing all negative energy, right? Which includes thoughts that may be lingering, emotions, and illness as well, because illness begins with energy. All right. So that guided meditation uses the process of visualization, which all meditation really is visualization, the power of your mind, this mind. And what happens is you picture, with eyes closed, healing energy coming down like a light, soothing. Okay, and it's basically coming down your crown chakra, right through your head, through your brain, down your body, pushing all negative energy, including thoughts, emotions, whatever it may be, through the floor, through the ground. Okay, and that's where your feet need to be rooted. Okay, like if you imagine roots growing from your feet and intertwining with the plants and trees and everything beneath the ground. That's what gets you grounded. Where will the negative emotions and energy go? Into the earth. And then you can bring up earth energy um, to help ground you and give you that feeling of stability and balance that we talked about in the first slide. Okay, so let me know. I would love you to try that guided meditation. It has to, like, someone is speaking and there's soothing music in the background and they walk you through it. And then another thing to do with meditation is forgiveness exercises. This is what I do. And forgiveness exercises is simply going into a meditative state and bringing up each um, negative thought or emotion that's stuck, and then processing it. So let's do that now. So first, you find a quiet place, indoors or out. If you're outdoors, I would recommend taking your shoes and socks off and putting your feet in the grass or the soil, okay, to help you, ground yourself better. If you can't be outside, no problem. Just find a quiet place, and then don't cross any limbs. Let the energy flow. Close your eyes softly. Let's take 4 or 5 deep breaths, like 4 or 5 seconds on the inhale and 4 or 5 seconds on the exhale, like this. Inhale, exhale. Okay, 4 or 5 times, and that is meant to relax you, really relax you, and to shut off your thoughts. Your brain, your mind is a tool, like a hammer. So, do you walk around all day carrying a hammer, just in case you may need it? Probably not. You probably go get the hammer when you need to use it. You should do the same thing with your mind. When you don't need it, shut it off. It doesn't need to be there chirping and chattering at you. Okay? Like, you don't need it for mundane activities, like doing dishes, washing dishes. It's very therapeutic. But you don't need your brain. Are you going to say, I'm going to wash the square dishes and then the circular dishes and then the bowls and then the utensils last? That's what I'm going to do. You don't need to do that. Shut your brain off. Um, so that's what meditation does. Quiets this guy so you can hear this guy. Okay? And that's really important to keep our connection to source. And so when you quiet your mind, guess what happens next? These thoughts that are stuck in your head or emotions that are stuck will come to mind. You will either, you know, um, rethink the thought that's stuck, or you'll re-feel the emotion. It'll come back to you. And that's good. That's what we want. All right. So then you bring up the thought or emotion, acknowledge it. So let's say we have the jealousy issue with Bob at the workplace. Okay. So jealousy comes up. I feel you. I understand why you're here. Okay. I felt I deserved that raise or that promotion more than Bob. But I understand that I don't understand all the circumstances around this. Things happen for a reason. So I'm going to forgive it. And then you forgive the thought, and it goes. Don't forget to forgive Bob too, because you want to make sure that he's not stuck as well, and you're not sending negative energy his way. Okay, so I forgive you, Bob. I know you deserve it, and I know that it happened for a reason that I don't understand, and I'm letting it go. Okay, and that's it. And then what happens next? The next thought that's stuck in your head, or the emotion that's stuck, will come up, and then you rinse and repeat. Do the same thing again. Okay, understand where it came from. Acknowledge it. Don't judge it. Don't judge yourself. Be kind. And then forgive it and let it go. If it comes back, do it again. If it comes back, guess what you do? That's right, do it again. Okay? And eventually it'll go away. And if you do this daily, which you should, then that will help keep the energies flowing, keep you happy, keep you healthy, keep you enjoying life to the fullest. Other ways that we can remove energy blockages or imbalances is with energy healing practices, and these have skilled practitioners that deliver the service. Now, Reiki is a Japanese form where the Reiki practitioner, they have to be able to feel where the blockage is in your body, right? It could be physical, like muscle related, like in my case, and they'll relate the place of the pain to the chakra. And then they'll work to move the energy physically through massage and also with their healing hands and push it out so the energy is reflowing again. Okay? Acupuncture. This is another Eastern practice where they use very thin, long needles and they just pierce the skin. There's no bleeding involved. They pierce the skin wherever the imbalance or the blockage is happening, and that moves the energy around again, lets it flow. Movement and embodiment exercises. These are combining movement with spiritual um, ideas. Okay, so yoga is stretching while almost like meditating. Okay, and you're really feeling the stretch in your mind, right? Not just doing the stretch, you're feeling it, you're experiencing it, right? That's deep. Same thing with Tai Chi. It's a martial art that also involves a spiritual aspect where you're doing the physical motions and movements, but you're also doing them from a spiritual perspective. So all of these help. They keep us healthy. Okay, and then there's also, remember, therapists. If you feel really stuck and you're not able to do it through meditation and forgiveness, definitely seek help. As I mentioned, it's very important to maintain our emotional health. All right, so that's mainly what I wanted to cover.